Hi, parents. Good morning, good day to you, depending on where you are. I'm here in California, so it's the morning, and I want to welcome you all to this live. I'm going to talk about forgiveness today, and especially forgiving ourselves. And if you're watching this, give this a like or a love so that I know that you're here, or pop me a comment to see who's there. And yeah, so what this is all about really is I have been doing some more work on myself. I found some deep grief and sadness in me yesterday that I thought I had already dealt with. And so we can see from this work with emotional acceptance that, and I am even someone who's not afraid of crying and, feeling sadness and feeling grief and working on myself. And yet there are more layers to those things. So some of you might know I'm divorced, and it's been the most pleasant and kind divorce, I think, in the history of divorces. But yet it was painful and it was hard on all of us. It wasn't easy on the kids, and so I find myself still like up to yesterday, and I hope I got it all now after my last EA session with my coach. But yeah, I found myself with guilt, for doing this to the kids, even though we all know, and I know some of you have gone through separation or divorce too, and it's just, it's not that easy. You can't just say, I'll stay together for the kids, because oftentimes it's unhealthy. And in our case, it wasn't very unhealthy environment. It was just like, it was time to move on. And that happens too sometimes. And we're still incredibly close. And I hope to invite him on this group to do a live too sometimes, because at some point in the future, because I want to talk to him about how he managed to keep his heart so open and just stay so kind. But anyway, I'm digressing. So a lot of that guilt was still in me, for, it's hard. I'm a child of divorce. So, and I don't know how damaged I really was, but, that's always hard to say, because we're all damaged in some way or another, and that's okay, because those are our potentials for growth. So that guilt, though, was still in me, that sadness for hurting someone like that, and for making it harder for the kids. The kids either miss me or they miss their dad, depending on who they're with. And finding that grief and sadness and guilt inside of me so deeply, and where it was sitting in my body, and how it's been holding me back from so much other goodness in my life. Because then a part of me, if I want to or not, automatically thinks I'm a bad person. And that alone is enough to hold you back from more blessings and, goodness in your life. Just if a significant percentage of you feels and thinks that, because if you're feeling something, it's going to create corresponding thoughts. So if a significant part of my subconscious has the feeling that I'm not a good person, then it's going to create actions and thoughts that really put it into that same area. So what it really was all about was forgiving myself for the bad, quote unquote, bad things that I've done in the past in my life. And I've done a lot of forgiveness work already for myself, but it's not like we can just generally forgive ourselves and say, I forgive myself for all the bad things that I've ever done. And, that might work if we say it a million times, but when that stuff really shows up, then is the chance to really release it. So it showed up for me yesterday. I went in, I found it, I sat with it, I emotional acceptance it, if that's a verb now, and I managed to forgive myself by doing this practice, by going in and allowing it and listening to the feeling, to the emotion, to my body where it's stored. And the thing is, and this is why hi Elizabeth, nice to see you. Pop a comment if you want to know anything or if you want to say hi. So the thing about why I said catching up with our real-time selves is, if we are carrying around a lot of guilt, if we are carrying around a lot of, repressed or suppressed emotions that we haven't dealt with, or things where we know we didn't do so well in the past and we never really processed it, yeah, that stuff can go hiding. We can dig that under for a while, or ignore it, or medicate it, or use coping strategies, get distracted, but that stuff is still in there, and it's going to keep bothering us on some level until we get to the depth of it. And so what we want to do now is we want to live our life now, right? We got stuff to do, we got children to raise, we got relationships to tend to, or maybe our relationship with ourselves to tend to, or family members, to take care of, and work to do. We got all this stuff we need to do. And so with all that old stuff bogging us down from the inside, and having like that significant part of ourselves feeling a certain way, creating actions subconsciously, creating thoughts of not being good enough, of being a horrible person, of just carrying around that guilt, that is going to just keep holding us back, so that we can't catch up with our real-time selves. Then we can't really be in the moment, because a lot of us, hi Elizabeth, I'm glad you're here. Awesome, you caught this. Yeah, so a lot of us, while we are catching up with ourselves right now, while we are trying to live in the moment, do our best for our kids, for ourselves, for our relatives, for our relationships at work, we want to show up as the best possible version of ourselves, but we have all this old crap bogging us down. How are we going to do that? I mean, we can force through, and that's why a lot of people are dealing with anxiety and depression. It just gets really, really harder and harder to push through, to show up, to like do all the work, and just really want to invite you, especially now this time of year when the light gets darker, we're entering the harder time of the year, less sunlight. We're entering the time of the year where we're dealing with a lot of relatives in stressful situations, aka the holidays. Please observe yourself. Observe what triggers you. Observe what makes you sad. Observe, if there's any guilt, shame, or worry, or, what do you have hiding inside of you that's coming out at this time of year, that's knocking on your inside door, to want to be released. And so those are the things, that we have to pay attention to. And some of you are aware of this, but I do work with parents to release all this stuff. I do have a 3-month program that I work with people through all their stuff. So if you feel called to investigate about that, let me know. And otherwise, just please keep observing yourself. Keep listening when triggers show up, when tears show up. What is it that you haven't processed yet? And start there. That's like your best red thread into your subconscious to know what your programming is, so that you can start actually letting go of things. And really let go of them, like, so that they're gone for good, not just like temporarily, like you're doing a affirmation or meditation and you feel temporarily better, but that stuff is still there. So yeah, if you want to inquire about having a free gift session with me in emotional acceptance, I invite you to do that. You can message me or comment below. And yeah, I'm going to come up with something else that's super cool for the holidays. And I know it's a little tight timing, but I'll release that in here soon. And it's going to be super cool. And this is it for today. Love you guys. Message me if you have any questions or comment below. And I'll see you soon. Bye.